Oh my god, I've been ghosted.
Oh my god, I've been ghosted.
If you've ever been ghosted before, then you probably know how hurtful it is. And that explains why that guy, whoever he was, just yelled like that. Okay, it's really painful. Alright, so today we'll be talking about how to deal with being ghosted in a relationship. Okay, I don't want to assume that everybody knows what ghosting is. Okay, so we are going to define what ghosting is. According to Google, ghosting is the practice of ending a personal relationship with someone by suddenly and without explanation withdrawing from all communication. Alright, so there are a few important terms in that definition. It deals with personal relationships and ending all forms of communication and without any explanation. So I'm sure you see how hurtful it can be. Alright, as human beings, naturally we need some sort of closure. We need to understand things. Okay, when someone just suddenly ceases all communication with you, it can be hurt. It's really hurtful. Okay, it's really hurtful, and just being in the dark like that is not easy to handle. Alright, so the question now is, how do you deal with such a thing? That is what we shall be focusing on today. But before we get into that, I would like you to do me a favor and hit the like button below for the YouTube algorithm, and also subscribe to this channel if you are new here. Have you done that? Awesome. And also, I'll also like to throw out another question. Do you think ghosting is good or bad? Well, that is not the focus of this video, but just a random thought. Do you think ghosting is good or bad? Hopefully, as we shall go through this video, we will have an idea on that question. And of course, feel free to let us know your thoughts on that in the comments. Okay, so now, how do you deal with being ghosted? Number one, give the person the benefit of the doubt. Because the truth is that you don't know what is going on. If you call maybe the first time or text the first time and the person doesn't respond, you cannot just you cannot just jump to the conclusion that this person is ignoring you. Okay, just to precise again, we are talking about personal relationships. Okay, and it's mostly in the case it's mostly romantic relationships, but it can also be in the case of friendships. It can also be close friendships. It can even be with family. The key word here is personal, but most of the times this is in the context of romantic relationships. All right. So give the person the benefit of the doubt, okay, and try to understand, try to ask questions first. So now, after you must have tried once, and you get no response, twice, and you get no response, and 3 times, and you get no response, then that's when you can assume that there is something going on here. That's when you can start suspecting that you've been ghosted. All right. So why 3 times? That is because it is often said that when something happens once, it is random. When it happens twice, it's a coincidence. But when it happens 3 times, it's a pattern. So that is why you need to try at least 3 times before you can realize that, okay, there's something definitely up here. It's possible that you've been ghosted. But then in order to confirm that, okay, you need to make sure that the person has actually seen your calls or your text. And you can do that generally by noticing that whether the person is online or not. Let's take, for example, WhatsApp. Okay, you can tell whether the person is online. Okay, if you see that the person is online after you call and after you texted, and then you can even try again one more time and the person still doesn't respond, then it means that, yeah, it is safe to assume then that the person is ghosting you. All right. But then again, it's preferable not to draw any rash conclusions. Okay, so the first thing is give the person the benefit of the doubt. Give the person the benefit of the doubt. And when you realize that after at least 3 times of trying, you get no response, then it's possible that you've been ghosted. And which brings us to the next point. Number 2, don't insist. Don't insist. As a confident person, as someone who values yourself, you shouldn't insist. After you must have tried like 3 times or 4 times, just let it go. Take a step back. Don't insist. The moment you start insisting, you are reducing your value in front of this person. It makes you look desperate, and that is not the kind of message that you want to send across. You should value yourself. Okay, if this person doesn't want to respond, that's fine. Of course, I'm not saying that it's easy to handle. It's definitely painful not to be ignored. It's definitely painful not to talk to someone that you are close to and the person is not responding.
How could this happen? How could this happen? How could this happen, man? What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong, man? How could this be happening?
I feel you, man. It's so painful. It's so painful, but it's gonna be alright. Just take heart, just chill, and this too shall pass. This too shall pass for sure. Alright. So you are also very valuable. Don't also make yourself look desperate. Don't make as if you absolutely need that person. No. Take a step back. Don't insist. Okay, because insisting only makes it worse. It makes the person to see you less, and stuff like that. It reduces your value in front of the person. So don't insist. And the third point, know that it is not about you, but about the person. So when you've been ghosted, all right, it is not about you. Know that have in mind that it is not about you, all right? Because here's the thing, ghosting someone is not a mature way of handling, a breakup, okay, or handling an issue. Okay, the mature thing to do is to approach them to have a conversation with this person, to talk about the issues. Okay, if you are no longer interested in the relationship, for instance, you tell the person why you are no longer interested. You tell the person that maybe you need to break up. You tell the person that maybe you need a break, and explain and give your reasons why. It's good to have that conversation. That's the mature thing to do, instead of just keeping quiet like that. It is immature. All right, so know that it is not it. When someone ghosts you, it says more about who that person is and not about you. It simply shows that person is not mature enough to have a conversation with you about what is going on, and to make things clear that maybe they are no longer interested in pursuing that relationship. And that brings us again to number 4. Don't blame yourself. All right. So if it says more about the person and not about you, then you should not blame yourself. Okay, it's very tempting, when you don't receive, feedback from the person and stuff like that, to start blaming yourself, to start wondering like, what did I do? Where did I go wrong? All right, it's very tempting, but then you should not do that. Don't blame yourself. Don't think that, okay, it's maybe of this thing that you did, or that thing that you did, okay, that the person is. All right, it is the person's immaturity. Okay, what it simply means is that you deserve better. You deserve to be with someone who is mature enough to have a conversation with you. You deserve better than someone who is immature. And lastly, number 5, deal with the hurt and move on. All right, so when you've been ghosted, okay, that's usually the end of the relationship. That is usually because the person no longer wants to continue that relationship. So it's time for you to embrace the pain, deal with it, and move on. Of course, it is not an easy process. It is definitely hurtful. You should take time to mourn. You should go through the different stages of grief, and until you finally come to acceptance, and you move on. You move on with your life, knowing that you've not done anything wrong. It is part of the process. It is that's how things happen. Of course, there is someone better. There's someone better out there for you. All right. So that's the thing with ghosting, and it has become even more common with social media. Social media has made it easier for people to ignore others, for people to ghost others and stuff like that. But then I would like to know, what do you think about ghosting? Is it good or bad? Is it good or bad based on what we've just shared? Is it good or bad? Well, what we can say for sure is that it is an immature way of handling a breakup. But as for whether it's good or bad, we'd like to know. Please let us know in the comments. And of course, and also, have you ever been ghosted before? If so, how did you handle it? Or like, what other things do you think that can help, to handle being ghosted? Please feel free to share with us in the comments. And don't forget to like this video, as usual, and also subscribe if you are new here. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, best tech remains your best bet.